So, the legendary, iconic Dionne Warwick, and I had to say that. Because when I saw, shout out to my girl over at the Impressive channel. Y'all know I love her. Y'all. Give a big shout out to her. Remember, if you're not subscribe to her channel on YouTube, please head right over and subscribe to the Impressive channel. She's factual, she's actual, and I ride with her. But anyway, the iconic Dionne Warwick. This is where the confusion came in for me, because her title for that video was that Dionne Warwick says Beyoncé is not iconic, or something like that. Classes in session. This is Top Music ENT Pod Show. I'm your host, King Philippe. You know I love it. Hey. Remember, if you listen to this on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Like, thumbs up, share. Let's talk about it down below. And if you rock with me on my pod show, platform, I appreciate you. Let's get right into it. So the iconic the iconic Dionne Warwick had some things to say about actually a lot of people in the industry, not just Beyonce, but since Beyonce is like the epitome of perfection, of course she gets singled out. But before we jump right into that, let me just play a little bit of what's going on. Let's do that. Okay, King.
About the current music artists of today. She said besides her and her peers, she doesn't really hear any classics on the radio. And she basically flat out said that there are no iconic music artists in music today.
With that being said, I can kind of agree with Dionne Warwick. And I had to really, my emotions was everywhere. Do you hear me? Everywhere. Because I'm like judging off the top. It actually took me about 2 hours to even watch the video. I'm like, look, I need to get into it. And then even while the video was playing, I ain't even watch. I just listen. I'm like, I need to stay busy. Because, I'm a hive, man. And when it comes to Beyonce, I know I ain't that type of Beyonce fan that just think that Beyonce just perfect and she this and she that. But I do recognize greatness, and contrary to belief, whether you like Beyonce or not, you can't deny her talent, you can't deny her gift, you can't not deny her ability to do what she does, and to do it so freaking excellent. You can't deny the fact that Beyonce is the greatest living entertainer on this planet. Like, you can't deny that. So, it's like, it's deeper than just being a part of a fan club, with me when it comes to Beyonce. It's like really me, for one, as an artist looking at Beyonce like, oh wow, like she's amazing. And then just recognize greatness. Like, come on, no matter who you are, you can't deny Beyonce's gift. You can't deny the fact and the way she captivate an audience and how she demand the stage. And then Coachella was like, I don't know an artist that can top that. So Beyonce Coachella performance alone is iconic. Now, with what Dionne Warwick said, after listening to it, Dionne Warwick has a strong point. Actually, great validation. She's completely right, to be considered iconic. And I'm gonna just throw legendary in there. Dionne Warwick and Patti LaBelle and Aretha Franklin and Gladys Knight, these women and even Sam Cooks and all the greatest like that, Frank Sinatra, Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder. These artists has been around for actually 40, 50 plus years, decades upon decades. That makes for iconic. And I understand that. I totally understand that. A lot of these baby, as Dionne put it, they ain't put in work. Some of them just reaching 20 years. Some of them haven't reached 20 years. And then you got people like Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey. And I'm going to throw Mary in there because I think y'all forget the fact that Mary J. Blige is like the most consistent artist that have arose out of the 90s. Mary J. Blige is probably one of a very selected few artists, especially in R&B, that can still chart. You got artists from the 2000s that can't even chart, and Mary J. Blige can drop, something right now and it charts. I don't even think she care about that stuff like that. But you got Mary from the 90s, Mariah. You still got, Janet and people like that who came from the 90s who 25, almost 30 years deep, they're reaching that iconic level. Then you got Beyonce. Actually, Beyonce did start from the 90s, and she almost at 25 years or whatever like that. But I think what makes Beyonce so different from all of those other people is the fact that Beyonce has consistently raised the bar. Beyonce has created... she has single-handedly changed the whole music game, from the way people put out albums to the way people, make videos or perform on stage or dance in heels. And she didn't create all of this stuff. She's not the first to do that. But you know what I'm saying? She took it and she advanced it to another level. Beyonce make these women really want to stay in shape, dance in heel, sing correctly, take vocal classes, just everything that legends like Tina Turner and all them did back in their time. Beyonce took it and she perfected it. And I think just with that alone, Beyonce is one of the highest selling person on tour, to go to tour, and you got people like the Beatles and who else, Kiss and Tina Turner, people like that, that holds these great accomplishment as selling out stadium tours and stuff like that. And you got Adele and Taylor Swift selling out arenas. Stadium arenas and stadium tours. Come on, people aren't just doing that. And Beyonce, she's one of them. I know her tour twice. She had 2 stadium tour that was the highest grossing tour that year. And she always in the top 5 or top 10. And that alone screams iconic to me, because I feel like Beyonce will still be relevant 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from here. A lot of these other people, LMA and no shade, but you probably won't even hear from them, or probably hear their record like, dang, I remember that. But Beyonce, and then as far with the classic music, I said a lot. I used to say that about Rihanna in the past, especially when Rihanna was dropping album back to back every year. Yes, Rihanna make hot music, and I've always said this, Rihanna is dope, but Rihanna music has always been for the moment. Will it last forever? Do Rihanna have some classic hits? Now, looking over Rihanna's whole discography, yes, she do have a few classics. Not a lot. Not many, but she has a few classic. I can definitely hear what is it? We Found Love would probably be a classic pop record, and then Diamonds, or what is it? Diamond. Shine bright tonight. Yeah, I can definitely hear that maybe being a classic hit record, but I don't hear many. And even with Beyonce, Beyonce is very, very transparent with her music. Rihanna talked that talk and loud kind of clashed to me, and I think she was just coming too fast, which I'm glad. I appreciate the breaks when she started pacing herself, especially with Anti. You know, how we got a break before we got Anti. And no, Rihanna, the break, I mean, I know I talk shit about you dropping them back to back. Like, for real, baby. It been like almost, 2 going on 3 years? Almost 2.5 years for Anti. We need a new record, baby. Like, come on, Riri. Classes and sessions. But with that being said, Beyonce has always, like, every album has been different. So I would say at least 1 or 2 records from each album would definitely be classic records. And I would definitely say that about 4, the album 4. I feel like that whole album, and I don't say that about, it's not a lot of new albums that I consider that could be a classic record. But I feel like Christina Aguilera Back to Basics album is legendary. That album could come out any decade and still be a bop. Beyonce 4, that raw, that real music, it's just so legendary. You know, and Brandy Aphrodisiac, like, those albums were so legendary to me. And even with Destiny's Child on Destiny Fulfilled, like, those albums, it's just timeless. Those are timeless piece of work. And a lot of people don't get that honor or that privilege to make records like that. But, you know, come on, let's get, because it's Beyonce. It's Beyonce, so it's deep with me. But let's listen some more before. I want y'all to hear a little bit more, just in case y'all, you know.
Not even Beyonce.
Do we have classics?
Not yet. Got a long way to go. I mean, when you speak of folks who have been in the industry recording for as long as I have, and my peers, you know, when these babies, and that's what I call them, who are approaching maybe 20 years, maybe, which is kind of amusing to me because I'm certain that none of them thought they would even last that long. But since they have, when they get into the 50s and 60-year range, that's when you can start saying, well, maybe there's a classic hidden somewhere amongst them. But at this very moment, I don't see it. You know, I just don't. I certainly appreciate the fact that the youngsters are doing it. I mean, they are doing it. Admiration for Beyonce Knowles. Carter now. Watching her growth has been quite refreshing. It was wonderful to see how she's been able to create what and who she wanted to be and who she is. Very proud of that. I really am. Now, sustaining and becoming the icon that a Gladys Knight or Patti LaBelle or Johnny Mathis or Frank Sinatra or Sammy Davis Jr. is, I doubt. I really do. And I love her to death. You know, and like I said, I appreciate her talent. But that iconic status that I just mentioned before, those names, it's a long road to hoe.
Now, I mean, to say I doubt it, Dionne, I feel like you was reaching. And like I said, before I actually sat there and really heard the whole entire thing, I was ready to come for Dionne. Like, Dionne, they say you make elevator music, like everybody know Walk On By, and you know, we know the few other classes that you have made, but it's like, when you just think legendary, you really have to dig deep, search deep to pull Dionne Warwick name out. And I think that has a lot to do with the type of music Dionne makes. You know, Dionne was really like a pop superstar back in her days. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think Dionne, you don't think Patti and Aretha. When you think Patti and Aretha, you think blues, gospel, R&B, you know. And when you think Dionne, you think pop. Like I said, pop music. Frank Sinatra, who else? Elvis, you know, that type of group. Because that's the type of music that Dionne made. Dionne Warwick, I feel like, I mean, rightfully so. She's Dionne Warwick. She's legendary. She's iconic. She can't say these things. But I feel like, I mean, I'm not being biased, and I really don't want no one to think I'm being biased, because I'm not being biased. It's Beyonce. I love Beyonce. But I will go to bat for somebody else if they wasn't Beyonce. I don't really see nobody else other, maybe Kanye, but see, y'all are clowning me for saying Kanye, but y'all, I'm saying Kanye is a genius, man. Me saying Taylor Swift, which I feel like Taylor will be, but me just going hard for Taylor Swift because I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, then y'all can say I'm being biased. But with Beyonce, it's like, you ain't got to like Beyonce, you ain't got to fuck with Beyonce, you ain't got to do nothing with Beyonce, but you can't deny what's right there. You can't deny it. You can't deny her greatness. You can't tell me who is out here outperforming Beyonce, and just that alone. You think Michael Jackson, of course he's iconic, he's legendary, but when Mike was around, there was nobody in his category. There was nobody in his lane. I mean, you had people come and trying almost, you know, people say Ciara dance like Mike. People say Chris Brown, you know, can move like Mike, you know, and Justin Timberlake, they all moving like Mike. Beyonce ain't moving like Mike, but she took Michael Jackson formula, Janet Jackson formula, Madonna formula, Tina Turner, who I think has the most influence on Beyonce more than anything. And this is coming from a real Beyonce fan. Y'all don't understand like the influence that Tina Turner, especially early Beyonce. Beyonce took all of that and enhanced it and just made it something great and became the biggest entertainer in the world by herself. By herself, you know what I'm saying? Of course with her team or whatever, but you know, it's no group or whatever, and she came out of a group, but she by herself. So for Dionne, I really felt like she shouldn't even mention Beyonce, you know? Like, cause Auntie D, I want to respect you, but I would feel better if Patti LaBelle would have said something like that, or Aretha Franklin, rest in peace, Aretha. But somebody like that, even Diana Ross or somebody like that, people that you don't have to really just think about. When their name pops up, you automatically say a legendary icon. And like, yes, Dionne Warwick is iconic, but like I said, a lot of us have to search our brain to figure out who the hell is Dionne Warwick.
You still hear I say a little prayer. You still hear Walk On By. You still hear Don't Make Me Over. You still hear every single record that I've ever recorded. That's how you hold up.
Period.
Now, when I heard
6-decade career, she's charted 56 hits in the Billboard Top 100 and won 5 Grammy Awards, with songs that generations have swayed to.
So Dionne Warwick, like I said, and if y'all didn't hear what was just said, the commentator was saying, or whoever, the reporter was saying that Dionne, over a 6-decade career span, Dionne Warwick has charted 56 hits, I think. Yeah, 56 hits in the Billboard Top 100. And She had 5 Grammys. That is some great accomplishment, some great accolade. I will say that. But my generation, and definitely younger, oh my God, they can't really tell you much about Dionne Warwick, you know. But at the same time, Dionne is just really saying, like, none of them has been in the game long enough to really give them that type of title, which is true. But don't count Beyonce out. That's all I'm saying. You can't count the queen out because she's Beyonce. Like, come on.
Beyonce, because I find some of her comments interesting. First, she gave Beyonce praise and said that she was refreshing to watch, and she said she really enjoyed seeing her growth, but Beyonce is not at an icon status yet. Now, some people may disagree with that. In my humble opinion, I do think that Beyonce is a music icon. Beyonce has been in the music industry for over 20 years. She started off with her group Destiny's Child, and since then she has evolved into one of the greatest performers of all time. I have literally seen Beyonce morph into this iconic performer. And I do believe that Beyonce solidified herself as an icon when she performed at Coachella, because she has ever done, and she raised the bar so high that current artists cannot even compete with her now. Performer, but as an overall artist. When you hear Beyonce's songs on the radio, you can tell that it's Beyonce. Her voice is very distinctive. Also, when you see Beyonce, when you look at her image, she wears the leotard, she has the blonde hair. That is her signature style. And anyone else who adopts this style will always be compared to Beyonce now, because Beyonce has made this a part of her overall brand. So when I consider all of these things, I would say that Beyonce is an icon. Whether or not you like her music, whether or not you like her as an artist, you can't say that you don't know who Beyonce is, and you can't deny her impact on this new generation. That she doesn't feel like Beyonce is an icon because she's not old enough. She hasn't put in enough work to really earn that status. And I can understand why she said what she said. Because if you look at Dionne and you look at her peers, you'll see that these artists have been performing for over 5 decades. Okay? That's a long time. Beyonce has only been performing for a little over 2 decades. She's still got 3 more decades to go. She still has a lot of work to do. I mean, there are some artists who have been performing longer than Beyonce, and they are still performing to this day. Mariah Carey, she puts on an excellent show. Let's also talk about another artist, Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson is 53 years old, and she is still dancing her tail off on stage. She has not slowed down whatsoever. And she's been performing for about 4 decades now. So that is a long... Talk about some of these artists who have been singing and performing for over 60 years. Let's start with Tina Turner. She has a lot of classic hits, and she's also one of the greatest performers of all time. And she laid down... Tina Turner is a true icon, but it came with a lot of work. And even after she...
Oh my God, I did not mean to hit the laughing thing. My eyes, Tina Turner, oh my God. I did not... Yes, I meant to give you hand claps. Yes, legendary. Y'all, I don't know. I think y'all get kind of lost and not realize how important Tina Turner was to rock and roll music, and just how important Tina Turner is to music, period. Tina Turner is one of the greatest entertainer, period. Like, Tina Turner was bad, and still probably is bad. Like, Tina Turner, I never saw her live, but she's actually is someone who I would still want to see live today, because the shows that I watched on YouTube and just watching her performance on film throughout the years, Tina Turner she's infectious. She has that Beyonce has. Beyonce learn from the best. Tina Turner has the voice, the moves, the energy. It's just, I love it, man. Yes, much respect. Oh, dang, why do I keep hitting the wrong button? Much respect to Tina Turner, man. I really want to just redo this whole Paul over, but I'm not. But yes, much respect to Tina.
Solidified herself as a music artist, she was still performing well into her 50s and 60s and even her 70s. Another artist we could talk about is Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle, one of the greatest singers ever. She's been in the game for 6 decades and she's in her 70s. Another artist we could talk about is Diana Ross. Diana Ross has also been in the game for over 6 decades. And Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight has had a 60-year career in music and she's in her 70s and she's still singing. Let's not forget Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin has been in the music industry for a long time, as we all know, and up until her death, she has been performing for over 60 years. Not only been performing for a long time, but they also have a lot of timeless hits, and they have really influenced the next generation of music artists that we still see and hear about today. And
I'm just saying, I really think that a lot of the records and stuff that we're listening to now, think about how I have a whole like 2000 early 2000 playlist. Then I have a forgotten hits playlist on my Apple Music. And think about how it's a lot of records that was super big at that moment, and not even a good 20 years later, I'm only 30 years old, and there's some records that it's like, dang, I ain't heard that in so long ago. I forgot all about that record. Think about these big ass records that get washed away and forgotten over the years, with time. Think about that. And then think about records like, even what's playing right now, Salon Cranes in the Sky. It was really big for Salon. But think about it now. Listen, and we go in it right there. That song, Cranes in the Sky, because it's timeless. That record will be played 15, 20 years from here versus that Clout, the Clout song that Cardi B and her husband got right now. Take that song for instance and take Cranes in the Sky. Cranes in the Sky didn't reach the level of success, although it was very successful. It didn't reach the level of success that Cardi B and her fiance Offset have right now. Well, what's the name of that song? I don't know, that Clout song. Anyway, that song, that with the lemonades and the lemon. I mean, what is the name of the song? See, but anyway, that song is huge right now. 15 years from now, 5 years, Cranes in the Sky is still gonna come on, and you still gonna know it, and you still gonna get that feeling to where that song is gonna come on with Cardi and her gang. And you gonna be like, nah, I don't want to hear that, because you gonna be so tired of it. But just use that for instance, like, and I say all that just to say this: there are classic music out there. It may not be the biggest record on the radio, but there are classic music out there, and there's some timeless music out there, that's gonna stand the test of time. I'm just saying, don't sleep, man. This is King NT Pod Show. Talk music, I said that all wrong. This is Talk Music NT Pod Show. I'm your host, King Philippe. I love it. Until next time, remember, my kings and queens, you are royalty. Know your worth. Love each other, respect each other, take care of each other, and support each other. Until next time, y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Let's talk about it.